Let's go to the Oxford Ford Lincoln Buzzline. He's on the line right now. Chris Hatfield, InsideTheVille.com. InsideTheVille.com. Chris, good morning.
Good morning, bud. What's going on?
Oh, nothing much. A fun show with my man Kelly right here going on right now. He's excited. Your Cards got the big victory on the road yesterday. You beat Memphis. What did you think about that game?
It was a fun game. I think in the first half you saw a little bit of guys get caught up in the motion of the game, just the way it was going, the way it was being handled. I think in particular Russ Smith got a little too crazy with the one-on-one game, and you saw what's going to happen to Louisville a few times this season. They're going to miss shots, and they can't let it affect their defense. It happened against in the first game down in the Bahamas against Northern Iowa. But the difference was there is that team wasn't athletic enough to take advantage of it, and Memphis was, and I think they'd allowed to affect that in the first half, but they got back to it in the second half. They calmed down a little bit and got the ball inside, which was big.
Now, I know Kelly, he's a worrier. Were you kind of nervous when Memphis was up, I believe, 24-9 and 11 at one point?
Oh, no doubt I was nervous, but I think sometimes we look for complicated answers about why the game is going the way it is, but I just thought it was simple, Play better defense, hit a few jumpers, they'd be right back in it. I think, honestly, the best thing that happened for Russ Smith was getting hurt. Not to say, getting hurt and being taken out, but it allowed him to step back for a moment and see, we're down by 15 points, I've taken 8 shots, and I'm going crazy. And he even said that in the postgame. He said that he got caught up with the fans in a little one-on-one play, but I think they got away from that in the second half, and it was really big to go inside because they just weren't hitting their jumpers. Peyton Siva shown some senior leadership and was able to take over the game. He had a 7-0 run by himself in the second half, and then that really sparked it for them.
Yeah, Chris, I agree with you completely on that. I was calling toward the end of the first half and the beginning of the second half for Louisville to start feeding the ball inside. I was saying either to Shane or maybe even Wayne, but just get some high percentage shots going. They really did that as Shane Bohannon scored 16 of his 22 points in the second half. What do you think about the statement Shane made yesterday by scoring all those points?
He gets the quietest double-doubles in the world. I look up and he's got 10 rebounds and 10 points, but it was big. He really needed that game to get his confidence back because I think we were all looking for the guy that we saw in the Elite Eight, and he just hadn't been there. He prefers to take a 8-foot fadeaway when he should back it up and use a physical body. I think he wants to be Dirk Nowitzki more than anybody in the world, and he's just not that. I love it when he is on the block, being physical. I think that's what he needs to continue to do, and I think that game was huge for his confidence last night.
I mean, I'm the Kentucky fan, but I loved watching this game because the Memphis-Louisville rivalry, we talked about, the little rivalry, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisville-Memphis before we got you on, Chris, but it was very hyped up coming into this game, and it lived up to the expectations of the rivalry. You couldn't ask for, Peyton Siva, he got an elbow. I believe he was bleeding. A couple guys banging down low. It was a physical game. I hope Louisville-Memphis continue to play every year on the hardwood. I mean, I don't care what the conference situation is. I always want to see them play.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it definitely lived up to the hype. It got it back last night. I think last year was a little bit different, but you could definitely feel the rivalry going back to the days in Conference USA and such last night for sure. Now,
not the game, but did you see what came out after the game? Maybe Rick Pitino yelled at some fans. I loved it. I can't say maybe the comments of what he said, talking about getting Memphis into the Big East or whatever it was.
Yeah,
I thought it was awesome. Do you think he did that? And I'm okay with it. I don't know about you.
It wouldn't surprise me. I don't know for a fact if he did, but if he did, I love it. I love that Russ Smith turn around and shake his head when somebody said that his brother had more tattoos than him. He said that his brother is 9 years old, so he doesn't have really more tattoos than him. But I love it. I mean, I think that's what the rivalry's about. I think them guys like feeding off the crowd. Sometimes it can be a detriment, and sometimes it can be positive because they love to quiet them. So, I love it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Obviously, an ignorant fan confusing Russ Smith with Chris Smith from the team last year.
Yeah.
So he's thinking, J.R.
I think
Smith.
Commentators actually did that once as well.
Yeah, that's happened many times before for whatever reason. But, Chris, going forward, this season, college basketball is a constantly evolving process. You get to see your team maybe fail. Louisville hasn't had a huge loss yet like they did last year, but they get better as the course of the season goes on. The main thing I'm concerned with about this team is their shooting. Looking over the stats from yesterday, I see a great performance from Russ Smith, 12 for 12 from the line. Louisville as a whole was 38 of 46 from the free throw line, 7 of 17 from the three-point line. In such a hostile environment, do you think that is maybe a big step they took forward as far as shooting the ball?
Oh, it definitely is, and I think it's contagious with guys. It starts out with Peyton Siva, if he can knock down a few jumpers. It starts out with him, and the team feeds off of it. But I really think they need to concentrate, particularly early in the games, is focusing on getting the ball down low, getting those high percentage shots, and then moving it from the out in.
I agree with you completely on that.
I think they're capable of hitting a few They're capable of hitting a few jumpers, capable of hitting a good threes. But they need to be at the right times. I thought, particularly in the first half, there were a lot of them forced. And when that happens, definitely with this team, they seem to allow it to affect their defense, and it affected them last night because Memphis was able to get down the floor and use their athletes to push the ball. I thought it was a really, really good matchup for Louisville. They needed a team that could run with them, and I thought Memphis could.
I kind of want to get on keep it on basketball here, but off the Memphis game. Chris Hatfield, InsideTheVille.com. Get on there, checking out great stuff. Him and Mike Hughes. Gorgie Zhang, obviously he's expected to come back for the WKU game. It seems to be. When Gorgie comes back, this team, do they just take off and maybe solidify being one of the top teams? Everybody, obviously, they're already one of the top teams, but being Gorgie back and where they are right now.
I really think they do. Gorgie was that guy who was a great rebounder, a great rim protector, and that's really the thing that they're missing right now. What's something that really troubled me last night was just through the whole game, not even the first half, but the offensive rebounding was just terrible. And I think that's where Gorgie comes in. He was rebounding the ball really well until he got injured, and I think once they get him back, that'll be huge. You'll have a great rim protector, somebody that people are afraid to drive after, and we didn't have that last night, but I think that'll be huge.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Chris, kind of transitioning over before we get you off the line here, football, we do have that game coming up for the Louisville Sugar Bowl versus Florida. It seems that Florida's fans aren't really interested in going. They've only sold maybe 7,000 or so tickets as of now. Are you going to be down there? Kelly will be. And what are your thoughts of the game? Will Louisville make this a lot closer than people are saying?
I'm definitely going to be down there. I think the big thing, what you want to do with Florida, is obviously a great team, great run game, great defense. I think you want to make Jeff Driscoll pass. If you get him in a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, that would be huge for Louisville. If you make Jeff Driscoll pass, I think he's going to make a couple mistakes. And then on the offensive end, I think that the offensive line is going to be critical in this game. Florida has one of the talented defensive lines in the country, and I think they definitely need to allow Teddy Bridgewater to get some time. And if they can get some sort of a run game going, that'd be huge. I think Lamb could be critical in this game if they can break out a few long runs with him and maybe sway the momentum in their way. But I think you want to make Jeff Driscoll pass, slow down that run a little bit, and the offensive line definitely has to come ready to play. But I think it'll be a closer matchup than people are thinking. I'm a little biased, but I think Louisville will be ready to play. We'll see what happens.
I got to agree with you, Chris. Got to be really excited about the numbers that are coming out. Louisville's obviously going to travel well, going to be down there to support the team. I also agree with you on the Lamb comment. Florida, what they have defensively is speed.
Yeah.
And, we got Jeremy Wright. He's fast. Corvin Lamb may be the fastest guy on our team. If we can get him going, even if it's screen passes, whatever it is, get the ball in that guy's hands and let's see what he can do. But that's what I'm looking forward to. So I really appreciate you coming on, Chris. We look forward to having you on again soon. Thanks
Probably
a
next
lot.
week or two. For sure. Louisville game, Kentucky. We got to get you on for that.
All right, no problem, buddy. Thanks, guys.
Anytime. Chris Hatfield, InsideTheVille.com. Always makes great points. I was walking up and down with him the sideline during the South Florida football game, and I promise you, everything that happened, he said right before it happened. He goes, Louisville's going to do this, Louisville's going to do that. And it happened. And he told me before it happened, they're going to go over. Whatever happened in the end is going to happen. About 10 minutes work. Chris nails it. He loves Louisville. He's at all the events. Follow them on InsideTheVille.com.